was miles from her home in Jollymont, and drove into a carriageway alongside the muted Gothic red brick construction of the police station. There they herded her over a small lane and via a back door into this otherwise empty yet menacing place. It might have intimidated a lesser person. Nevertheless, the room had a palpable derision for the innocent until proven guilty. Apprehension tingled. She eyed the grubby table in front of her, and her lip curled. The grime there declared its contempt for those who had the misfortune to sit at it. Hinges creaked as the door opened, and welcome light filled the room. Mr. Bankston entered, almost casually, and gave her only his nod of recognition. His coat-tails brought with them a chilly rush of air, offering no reprieve in the dense space beyond him. Mr. Bankston closed the door with a firm hand. All business. No friend of the family now, it seems. A high-ranking police officer, there was no drab uniform for him like others in the force. Underneath the morning coat, he wore a vest and trousers in charcoal wool, and his shoes were highly polished black leather, an older pair, well creased, none the less impressive. Apparently, he was second only to the Chief Commissioner, Mr. Cholmondeley. Prudence couldn't attest to the veracity of that claim, even though he'd been known as such to her father for many years. Mr. Bankston removed his gloves and tucked them in his coat pocket. Perhaps he was now a detective, or some sort of special investigator. She had been away studying in Scotland for some years until very recently and had not caught up.
"Good afternoon, Miss North."
"Good afternoon. What—" He held up a hand at her raised voice, and, surprised, she stopped briefly before she testily began again. "I've been marshalled without explanation to Burke Street West by your men into a building, not even the police station itself, to be interviewed by a so-called family friend. What on earth is going on?" He sat opposite, rickety chairs no bother to him.
"I make no preamble. Dr. North, your father, is accused of engaging in criminal activities in his medical practice,"
he stated, as calmly as you like. Shocked to silence, she stared at him. Clutching the purse on her lap, her fingers became painfully tight around the few coins and handkerchief inside.
"And that, you see,"
he went on, his gaze holding hers,
"puts me in a predicament."
He sounded his normal, pleasant self, only this time the dulcet tones were a little foreboding. Under the pale sunlight that illuminated the room, his handsome face, usually affable and open, was now closed. His dark hair, shot with elegant streaks of silver, made him look rakish. His heavy brows had knitted, and his dark eyes held a level of concern, not for her, but for his predicament, no doubt. Thoughts raced through her. Everard hadn't referred to her father by his first name. Unusual. Being a close family friend allowed him certain privilege. Why, 4 years ago, in the weeks just after she'd arrived in Scotland, he'd even written to her asking about her studies at the University of St. Andrews. An interested family friend. He sighed.
"I take your silence to mean I may continue."
Letting go of her purse to straighten her only good woolen jacket and tug at the sleeves, she said, "How so a predicament, Mr. Bankston? You of all people can substantiate my father's character." Tilting his head a little, he said,
"You used to call me Everett."
He laced his fingers, rested his hands on the grime. Anger simmered as she swallowed down gulps of fetid air. "You used to call my father Gregory, and me Prudy. Perhaps the very nature of this interview abandons such familiarity," she snapped, which didn't relieve the nerves that skidded through her. He leaned forward, and the cuffs of his jacket planted on the mucky table. His nose twitched. Clearly he wasn't immune to the smell in the room. What was he thinking, ordering her here?
"I will have to suspend your father's practice until the charges are cleared."
Charges? A distressed wail reached her ears, from out of nowhere, and made her flinch. Were prisoners close by? Were there cells here?